Welcome back to Wash Talk, everyone, the Carwash Podcast. I'm your host, Rich DiPaolo, and joining me today, we welcome back in friend of the program, John Roush, founder and CEO of Express Wash Concepts. John, I know you're a busy guy these days. I appreciate you taking some time to spend with me today.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks for being patient with me to get on a call.
Not a problem. I know I caught you in the middle of a grand opening last week, so I'm hoping everything went well.
It went absolutely beautifully. My teams are doing a killer job opening these sites up there. They're spectacular.
Your team's also doing a killer job of keeping us informed here at carwash.com with all of your updates. So I wanted to get you on the program today, John, just to catch up on some of those things and maybe fit in a few general market questions while I have you. But, I speak about Express Wash Concepts and the news on carwash.com, and you've made several big moves lately, from expanding in Pittsburgh to even acquiring 3 formerly Zips locations in Ohio. So can you walk us through the strategy behind these acquisitions and how they impact your broader expansion playbook?
Well, to be brutally honest, Zips sites in Cincinnati is just a little test. We had a good opportunity with them. We have 3 other sites down in the Cincinnati metro market. And we just wanted to see, how powerful our ops are and our brand. I've challenged my people like, hey, can we take these poor performing sites and make them great? So, really, I should just talk trash against my people. Let's get them to go. Come on. No, we're not an acquisition M&A type company. We mostly greenfield. And these sites will mostly be greenfield by the time we're done with them. They build a nice building, a nice site on them. We're going to totally re-equip them, rebrand them, and make them our own, and open all 3 here on August 1st. So we'll give it a test and see how our ops do. And it's a huge focus of us operation. We just always want to be on the top of our operations game, and hopefully that will be the thing that the customers will notice and enjoy our product down there.
Sounds like there's been a change. I've covered this market, as you know, for a few years now, and it seems like there's been a change in how, just in general, how top 50 car wash chains are expanding these days. They're being super strategic and wanting to become super regional brands, if you will. So how do you balance brand consistency among your 5 brands with regional market differences?
Well, pretty simple game. I mean, where we are, if you look at our 6 MSAs that we play in, we want to build and be that strategic largest player in that market. So Columbus, I think we have 34, 35 sites in the Columbus market. We block and tackle that area well. We're still going to build 4 or 5 sites down here. Dayton, same. Toledo, we've got a pretty good dominant share up there. Cleveland, we do. Pittsburgh, we're working on it. Hampton Roads, Virginia, definitely working on it, or we are, and working to build even further. But we want to come into a market. We want to be the player in that market. We want to give our customers kind of that best option for membership, with lots of locations to go to, and also strategically from a ops standpoint, to be able to support these washes properly, from operations to maintenance and mechanical IT. We find that having a bulk of washes in areas certainly a heck of a lot easier to take care of to our standards than being scattered out across 30 different MSAs. So no different. And I would say from a brand, we are weirdos in the brand world. Having our 5 brands that just kind of happen organically from the 16 years that I've been in the business. I don't think it is impactful. I think Cincinnati operates differently than Columbus does, and Cleveland and Toledo and Detroit. And there's not a lot of cross-pollination from brand, knowledge in those markets. And we do make it clear to our customers that you can use your pass at any of our 120 locations. So we work on them knowing that it's all part of a bigger company that you've got some options with. So we haven't seen it, and I think we're blessed to have some very high performing sites in every single brand we have. So it's not like one brand's outperforming another. So it's been good. Marketing people, they hate me for it. but also love it from having some different stuff to do. But Bethany always pokes me in the rib if I tell her I'm looking at any other washes of the Q brand. So, but we're glad with what we have. They're all kind of awesome, but they're all identically the same operated inside out. They're all the same.
One of those pieces of news that we posted on carwash.com in recent months is the Clean Express Auto Wash brand, and it was the acquisition of Cleanland Car Wash as another big step forward for the Clean Express Auto Wash brand. So, what drew you to that specific location, and what are your growth expectations in that area?
So that one's in Macedonia, which is a little small, very nice suburban town of Cleveland, MSA. And it was just an opportunity. As a relatively new building, use NCS gear in there, very similar to what we build. And we just had it. It was a good opportunity. We jumped on it just to add a unit in the market. And again, another challenge of the teams, the old operator kind of struggled to get 1,200 or 1,300 members. And I think in the 10 days we owned it and operated it, I think we're up to 1,600 members already. So, we're working on that membership and creating that value to membership out, even in that greater MSA. So just an opportunity we want to take. There's a lot of opportunities like that out in the world right now in car wash. There's, I think the greenfield side has slowed down. I think some of these operators that got in under the pretenses that this was print money and easy business and don't worry about operations, it's just build it and it'll come. I think everyone's kind of figuring out that that's not the case. And so there's becoming some opportunities. And we've picked up, not only operating car washes that we've remodeled and got to our standards, but we have also picked up, approved site plan deals. So, we're working and convert them to our model. But we bought 2 or 3 Tommy sites and converted them to our site plan and built our buildings on them. And we're just kind of working opportunities. We've been good during the craziness, and from a finance side, we've got cash to spend and want to respectfully grow our business. And some interesting opportunities out there. Cleanland was just one of those.
Okay. Now, at the risk of filling up your ego and pumping your tires, I want to give you a little bit of compliment, John. One quote, and you've always been so gracious with your time with me and being open and honest. And one quote sticks out that you've given me over the years, and it was during the flurry of car washes building fast and trying to get to a certain number. And I don't remember the year exactly, but it was during maybe 2019, 2020, right during the fervor of let's build quick. And you said, Rich, I used to look at your list every year and wonder how far I could move up it with building and growing my number of locations. But I really want to focus more on quality over quantity these days. And dare I say, John, you are ahead of the time, because now operators are catching up with a similar focus. So you do have 25 additional openings planned for this year, as I learned in your press releases. How are you scaling internal operations like staffing and technology to support that growth? Has your team faced any recent bottlenecks? And if so, how are you addressing them?
So great question and super important. Like we've been blessed to have a business that has grown to afford some things that smaller operators don't have. And we've got an entire amazing IT department. We write a lot of our own code, a lot of our own back-end software. We are able to manipulate and work software we can buy off the shelf. So like from a development standpoint and how we do site selection and the modeling we've done around that to find these great sites and understand our customers' traffic and patterns, like we've built all that custom to us. And then operationally, it's hard to wash, 22 million cars a year and not have perfect visibility to every site you go to. And so we built software and reporting and KPI watch that's, keeping an eye on everything we do and alerting us to stuff that is, either subpar or even in good cases above par. So we invest a ton in the back end of this business, a ton in the all the IT side of this stuff, including our customer engagement. And then from a people standpoint, I think our training and the training systems we built to not only train our site level people, but also our area managers, our service techs, our regional directors, our lead techs. We built an entire, you'll see in another press release, hopefully in 2 weeks, one of the most amazing car wash colleges that my guys down the hall from me thought up. And we had a little dead space. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to show that off. But we'll have a whole operating car wash and training center that is spectacularly built, where people can get in and get their hands on equipment in a nice and quiet training, and lab environment that's going to be super helpful to bring the techs up to speed on, be able to maintain washes properly. So, these are all things we've done to build consistency in these 25 stores. We want to open the next, we plan on 25 to 30 units for the next 5 years. So we know we need to invest in those things to have the output we want out of these units, good high performing units that are top 1%ers in volume and, customer CSAT. And, we've got awesome net promoter scores because of all the stuff we're doing in the background. People are always the biggest challenge. And I will give kudos to our talent acquisition group here that works tirelessly every day to not only backfill sites, we're in a fairly high turnover labor side and hourly, but also keep the new sites staffed with some great people. And then we bring them into our culture and really, persist on excellence and growth internally with themselves. And we're getting some good output from it. It always is awesome to me. I go to sites in, our Detroit market, and I see some of the most fabulous young people that are didn't realize car wash was an actual career and a great place to grow their lives. And countless vehicles and houses and babies and families this company started with our 1,400 awesome employees here. It's just it's a cool thing to see people grow and have opportunity and, build their own lives too.
Such a great impact the car wash industry has had through all these changes. It used to be a stepping stone type job to something greater. Now you can actually make a career out of it. And the years and decades ahead, we're going to see some great talent in this industry as a result of it. And, you can put all the technology and automation that you want. If your culture stinks, right? You're going in the opposite direction. So with this next question about workplace culture and another one of your brands, John, the Moo Moo Express, and certainly has a special place in my heart. One of those articles I wrote that sticks out to me over the years. We had a lot of fun with it. I see Do You Moo behind you. So let's get to Moo Moo Express. It was recently named on the 2025 ColumBEST Best Employer under 500 employees. What initiatives or investments have you made in workplace culture that help you earn this recognition?
This is an ongoing thing. We want to create a good place. It's fun to work, that has great growth potential. So we set high goals. We won't sugarcoat this at all. I expect the best of our people. I expect sweating the details. I expect excellence in everything they do. And if they don't, then unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they get promoted to customer, which is fine. I want to run this company like a sports team, not necessarily a family. We love each other and we take care of each other, and from a family standpoint. But in reality, I look at all high performing teams as more of a sports type team. If you think about the people, if you played football or basketball, or I play hockey still, I want to see some ass kickers on my line. Excuse me if I'm allowed saying that. So, and that's the people I want around in this business. And what we found in our journeys in the 16 years here is that when you have a dominant culture of excellence and hustle and humble and helpfulness, things happen. And it's been a thing that we do work every day to keep that, because we unfortunately, there's some pruning you have to do here and there to keep that culture alive, but constant attention to it, and the best training program in the world, setting good high goals for them, giving them a piece of profit share. But if we have a profitable store and a busy store, I want to share that love with our site managers and our service techs and everyone involved with making that happen. So we're very fair with those situations to give them compensation. If the company's making money, they need to make money as well. And we want to make it, we want to see them share right along with success. So, money's not, by the way, not the answer to anything. To to the culture aspect. It's probably a little piece to it, and they need to be fairly compensated, and we want them to be, but appreciation to what they do. Lots of other fun initiatives that are around this company, and a lot of accolades to people that are outstanding in what they're doing. We want to make sure that everyone feels that love. I mean, there's no better thing for me, from a customer, to tell me thank you for taking good care of my car, and I want to tell my assistant or staff people out that thank you as well. So thank yous and pleases are always good around the company to help with culture as well.
Speaking of high praise and accolades, EWC was also ranked on Inc. magazine's fastest growing Midwest companies. You're now a mainstay on that list in recent years. What's fueling that consistency?
We have built a really good company that has been successful in growth. And I think my development team and our CDO, who helped build our development status and programs and put the technology behind it, has done such a great job with that. And we're finding really good success as we put units on. So we were good during the crazy times. We've only been a greenfield developer along the way. So we got to pick our sites exactly where we wanted them. We got to open them how we wanted to, and we got to grow them how we wanted to. And that's been good financially and given us plenty of power to keep moving it forward. So we're having fun. I will tell you, like, I'm a construction development guy. I love to build sites. I love to be challenged by a zoning department and by a community and explain to them why a car wash is a great fit for that site and get a deal done and snip the ribbon. I'm probably honestly not the best operator in the world, but I have a team that are the best operators in the world. And I chirp at them about some little things here and there, and they execute to an amazing team. But it's fun to build and grow. I will tell you that that really makes my juices flow and get higher on your list, of course, right?
I did sense that excitement last week when I caught you in the middle of a grand opening. You barely wiped that smile off your face. I know you were headed for a good time, and I'm sure those grand openings are a huge celebration, right?
They're awesome.
So if I can shift your attention, John, just to a couple of industry-specific questions. I know you're an important part of this market, and you stay up on the trends, and you're involved at the trade shows. So on the industry level, from what I'm hearing, we're expecting more M&A activity to pick up this year. We're obviously seeing a lot of technology into the space. Private equity involvement, depending on the company, is greater than it's ever been before. How do you think these trends are maybe reshaping the competitive landscape for regional operators? And then if I can, as a follow-up, what chains are thriving nowadays during rapid expansion from ones that might be struggling to scale?
So I think the last year or so, like, all the hysteria has kind of dropped. And I think from a focus on excellence in ops and better development strategies, like, these are all things that are, I think, greatly helping the industry. I think, there's some good M&A opportunities. Some people that got in and didn't really understand what work this truly was to actually operate a business successfully. So I think, like, a lot of these little things are all culminating into a better industry. From a technology side, I think if you just go to a restaurant and swipe on a Toast or any of these other little platforms out there, like, we're all starting to figure out customer engagement's like a very important thing. So I think all those technologies from a marketing, customer engagement side of things in the industry are all trickling through all the POS guys and all the third-party marketing companies out there that are actually coming to our industry. And we should. I mean, we deserve it. We are, becoming a billion-dollar industry or multi-billion-dollar industry, and pretty profitable at a site level as far as EBITDA goes. So spend some money, hold on to those customers. I still think we have a lot of growth to go. I was at a CEO dinner in Vegas for ICA, and we were around the table and were asked what inning we think the industry's in. And most of the guys at the table, some big names, I'll let you guess who they were pretty low innings. So I think as we study our customer, we study our product for our customer, $40 for a top level unlimited wash to keep a very expensive vehicle that you don't need to replace much if you take care of it is a pretty darn good investment from our customer base. And the more convenient those locations are to the customer, I think we're still seeing some pretty intense volumes. So from a data side of things, I think there's a ton of stuff coming in the industry, a lot of great data points to understand and share. And then from all the supporting aspects into the industry, I think that's amazing. And then I think some of the bad players and some of the quick hitters trying to get rich fast guys are starting to fade out a little bit. And we're getting a better operator and a better competition aspect as well. So it's just a good spot. I think we're good. We need I would say, if anything keeps me awake from an industry standpoint, it used to be I would have told you it was competition and crazy competition. That's less and less in my worriness. Consumer economy, this world, like I'd love to have a nice year of just calmness, of just good up to the right growth and everyone around us, because obviously we're swimming in the same fish tank as everybody. We can't have a bunch of dead fish around us. We need everyone to be healthy and strong and doing what we do. So I don't know if I answered your question perfectly, but that's how I kind of feel what's going on right now. I think we're in a little bit of a resurgence, and be interesting to see what the next 24 months, brings to the whole industry.
You answered my question so well. I have a follow-up if you may.
Let's do it.
So you mentioned earlier in the interview, you've been in this market for 16 years as an operator, if I'm not mistaken. So if my math is correct, which is always scary when I try to do math on this program, that puts you in the industry around 2009, 2010, around there.
Opened our first wash on East Broad Street here in Columbus in February 2009.
2009. Okay. So obviously before the membership craze kind of took hold, how is your business different today in 2025 than it was in 2009? I'd imagine the value of a customer, since they're a member, it's more emphasis to try to retain that customer. So that changes the game. But how about any of your line items, as volume has increased? Is there more emphasis on maintenance or marketing, let's say? Like, how is your business different today than it was 16 years ago?
We don't have enough time to talk about it. Like we screwed them up. I've screwed up more stuff than I could even make a list. It's so long. So, tons of learning, tons of growth. And, as you, again, like a lot of things just happen to us by need. And I think in the last year, we've been more strategic about stuff for the future than we ever have been in the past. But in the past, we're reactionary to issues, right? And every time something breaks and, we don't want to do that again, or you burn your finger on the stove, we figure out how not to do that again. So, lots of reps create a zillion new things in this business. And, I would say if I had to point to one major thing, that our use of data, our use of, systemic watching of what's going on in our industry is like in our wash is probably the biggest piece that's different. We used to just fake it till we made it back then. With 3 washes, I would be bored out of my skull with 3. So, we're a far more integrated data company that's got lots more visibility using computer and AI to watch what's going on with our business so we can, make the management reactions to it. But everything is different.
All right, one more question for you, John, and we'll get you out of here. This one might be easier for me to ask than for you to answer. So much is quickly changing, not only in the car wash industry, but as you mentioned, in the world and consumers nowadays. But looking ahead, what are your biggest opportunities, or maybe even headwinds, you see for the express car wash model over the next 12 to 24 months?
Consumers probably everything. We can't control weather. We just are in the cycles we're in, which I do think have been a little bit worse in the past 2 years than previously. I don't know what's causing that. I don't know if it's global warming or if it's just, trends in weather, but consumer probably is the biggest thing that we all need to watch. I think their health is, again, something that I think about a lot. I want to make sure they're healthy. We're not, COVID was such a big burp and everything that happened with it that, how we recover out of that. And I think we're still kind of in a recovery mode, a little bit of that. We'll see. We'll see how that looks. But from my perspective, our vendors are 100 times better than they were, a year ago or 2 years ago in this area. We're getting a lot of great attention. They're making good, movements on their product, and the support's better. And a lot of cool little technology pieces are coming down the road that either the vendors or new vendors into the market are figuring out that we should be, enjoying in the car wash industry. So I'm excited. I think we got a good couple years in front of us. We're working real hard to grow responsibly, quickly, and smart, and take advantage of kind of this lull right now in the action. And we're opening some really good stores, some of the best ramps we've had ever in our openings, and I feel really good about it. I mean, we're so blessed to be in this industry. Like, if you really think about it, you've been around the industry for a million years, and you've seen where this thing's grown from a little teeny show, to a bunch of scattered little operators all over the place to like a real industry and real businesses doing some real things. It's pretty cool to be part of. I'm really blessed.
Yeah, we're happy at PCD that the market is healthy. It sounds like EWC is healthy. And John, it even looks like you're healthy. Last time I saw you was at the Car Wash Show 2025. And I noticed that you had a huge brace on your arm. Unfortunately, we weren't able. Every time I saw you, you were busy in serious conversations with a group of people. So I didn't get a chance to see you at the show and find out what happened to your arm. Was that a hockey injury? Or?
Oh, I wish it was cooler than that. It is not. This is called an old man's problem.
Gotcha.
I ruptured my bicep lifting a TV. Go figure that one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also recently ruptured my bicep.
Did you really? Oh,
it
man.
did. Yeah. For me anyway. The pain was a lot worse before I ruptured the bicep. After the thing went, I was pain free for the most part. But leading up to that, I had a whole bunch of inflammation that was causing a problem. But well, glad to see you're healthy, John. Yeah, glad to see you are as well. I can't thank you enough for spending some time with me here on Wash Talk and giving us an update on Express Wash concepts.
Thanks so much for having me and being patient with me mostly. So appreciate you. We'll see you at the next show.
Not a problem, John. Have a good one.
Take care, Rich.